Oh my goodness, we were missing this yesterday. But this stadium just erupted with the T1 cheers. Everyone.
Over there is on vision though, as Doran.
Oh dear, Doran goes into the circle. Shock Blast goes wide though, as now Doran looking to try and put on the pressure. Let's see, the snips are coming in and there's a pause.
Oh no,
ZEUS, he couldn't face it. He couldn't face being solo killed by Doran, or something has gone catastrophically.
Well, ZEUS still has flash, right? So
I feel like 9 out of 10 people say no.
Oh, there's the flash.
there it is, yeah.
Oh, I say that. Owner is looking for a potential steal here.
Oh dear.
Yeah, they thought he backed because he was on the ward.
Well, he can see Peanut, but he couldn't see the health bar. As we can see there, as Peanut, gets
a suspicion.
wind of it. And Owner comes in. Let's see who's going to be able to take this, and it's Owner just stealing it away.
Even with the shock blast from ZEUS.
A lot of value out of that one. Gold incredibly even, as we can see, is now Zeka moving forward. Peanut's here though. He's even got cease and desist. It's going to be used by Faker as he hijacks it away. And there it is, returned in kind. And Zeka will finally claim the first blood. They're really close. That is only first blood gold really in it between these two teams. So nothing really to worry about.
I think the Cyclone has to be game-changing if this is going to be a fight they can win down these critical items.
That was so many Wukongs that Peanut just had to watch. The army of monkeys heading towards the Vi as, all right, cease and desist comes out. Peanut just starting this fight as he flashes away. Pop Blossom to stop any sort of follow-up as now Peanut is just alone in the enemy jungle. Bullet time comes through. It does get a bit of damage down, but it's not going to kill anyone. And now Faker, with that Spirit Rush available, looking to try and close in on the rest of HLE. What was that, Peanut?
Item spikes be damned. If you go in alone, 1v3 into the enemy jungle, having just 2 spike advantage doesn't really matter.
Well, now ZEUS is fighting against Doran. They, I was going to say trade ultimates, which I guess is kind of true, but Jace doesn't really have one. Yeah. And Peanut once again back to that dangerous location. It did give him some trouble before, as Oldia Gumayushi could be in trouble, as once again, cease and desist comes down. He does have flash, so he's going to use it. Bullet time coming on in, as the Cyclone there from Owner defending his AD carry. The flash not quite working, but now Doran throwing some needlework towards Peanut, who wants to get himself away and does Vault Breaker out. Charm will connect, as now Doran could be in a bit of trouble, fighting off his ex-teammate, but no one going to die outside of Viper, who fell unfortunately in the aftermath.
Building the lead, getting the objective control.
Yep, money for nothing. As, okay, Delight looking for another Shattering Strike. Gumayushi on a ward. They did know that he was walking over there as the Make It Rain coming on down once again. Riot taking a bit of damage as the Rift Herald is on the minds of HLE. Gumayushi level 11 now as Shock Blast does so much damage. And look at this, they're just in the blender. This time Delight making something happen as Doran gets into the backside. Owner has found Peanut once again. And now the bullet time's gonna need to save them. Gwen is immune, ladies and gentlemen. That's allowing Doran to survive. But the Rift Herald's still up and T1 are gonna take even more this game.
Now we will have time to be in position, at least threaten the steal. And there could be an opportunity, but we need to see a more synced up Hanwha live if they want to win this, as there comes Doran in again.
Yeah, teleport's coming through from everyone. Zeka going to make his way over. Let's see whether this soul point can be denied. Hex Gates coming on in as Zeka finding so much damage. There's the steal. It's ZEUS that takes it down, and the Pop Blossom doesn't do nearly enough.
They're in the pit.
They do lose 2. They have 3 left, still alive. Shattering Strike not doing too much as Doran and Goom are able to take down the Rel. And now it's even footing. Faker trying to find it. The dash cannon getting him into this fight is now Viper in trouble. The Taste land! And they try and keep him alive, but it does not work. ZEUS trying to push them away. And him and Zek, I don't think it's going to be enough. T1 win the fight, but they don't take the Drake.
But T1 outplay them. The moment here where you see finally Delight gets the engage he's been looking for all game. The follow-up from Zeka, the bullet time is there, and the shock blast. That's the wombo combo you're looking for, but look at this. They get a little bit split in the outset, and then T1 are able to punish.
But this is where you think you can just exit from the play, but they want more. Delight, 5 levels down, by the way. The burst from Guma and Doran just catches him completely off guard, kind of continuing his struggle. And then here, Viper, I don't think needed to flash the initial needles that came through.
Oh god, the chain's gonna have to be flashed here by ZEUS, as Faker doing so much work, and Owner is there with the follow-up. Hands the golden assist, and they're gonna look for a top lane out of turret.
It's
your stuff.
The cleanse isn't gonna be enough, and the flashes are gonna be enough. You need your team to be there. You need your team, you need the setup, and you need to be the team that's getting the first kill.
Well, they're gonna look for it here as Delight going to be able to use that blast cone, but he's down incredibly low and will get taken down. Possible overextension though, as the Orbit Deception does a lot of work, as Faker dashing around the battlefield with his hijacked Spirit Rush. Now Pop Blossom is going to find only one, but it's ZEUS. That is a great target as now Zeka looking for the jump. The bullet time doing massive damage, but Doran now looking to get on top of Viper, who is completely alone and will get eviscerated. The wallet's so heavy here for T1, and they just take HLE out of the fight.
Viper couldn't have gotten any more value than he did in that one, but there wasn't any fault. They were so split, and so Doran just runs at Viper, the misfortunate immobile, and now Zeka clashing with Faker.
Yeah, Chain's not going to connect here as Delight will come in, but so will Carrier. Magnus Storm picked up by Faker here, taking a fair bit of damage, but they've taken the soul point. They've gotten exactly what they want. And Faker is able to keep himself alive.
Having a bad game, he's 0-3-2, but that's because he's MF, and that's because his team is behind into this insane engage composition here from T1 with melees that can just rip you to shreds.
Yeah. Speaking of being ripped to shreds, Peanut gonna try and get over the wall, but the flash is there for Owner, and he just knocks down the Vi. There is nowhere that Peanut is safe in this game.
And T1 were ready to say, we're gonna trade Vi for Kalista, but the way they did it and the setup they got feels so powerful. And this Vi that has just not been allowed to be played in any of our road to MSI. It is just our most banned champion here in the LCK. Peanut has a 0-5-2 performance on it, and T1, they're very happy with the risk they took.
Viper doesn't have his flash available.
There is also no jungler. So let's see whether HLE can try and kill T1 before they take this Baron. It looks like it's going to be impossible. Under 4,000 health as Delight goes in, finds the Magnus Storm. Let's see whether they can get the kills with the Pop Blossom. Doesn't do too much. They take down the Gwen, but this is still Baron picked up for T1. They go for the fight and they're looking to try and turn it. Kamiushi takes down Zeka. They've dealt with this Rel at the same time, and T1 say we'll just take everything.
Well, there you go. That's probably the game-winning play. They already had such a massive lead. We didn't expect Hunter was going to be able to win that fight as Carrier potentially punished here. We're getting trolled by the observers. Owner going to check it out.
Oh, dear. No, I think it might be Peanut getting punished here just a little bit. Slowed down by the Rend. Nimbus Strike going to be coming up pretty soon here. And Faker comes on over. He's just going to escort Owner in and escort HLE out of this first game.
And we can talk about the drafts. But for me, it's just the form of Hanwha Life. They look desynced. They don't really seem like they were ready for the high-tempo playstyle that, again, T1 has been playing towards this exact type of skirmishy, brawly style for a while. Now this fight, we kind of knew it was a done deal from the beginning. This is just a Hail Mary attempt from Hanwha.
Yeah, I mean, ZEUS is looking for Shock Blast angle and some time. Faker doesn't let him have it. Carrier's ultimate does practically nothing, but it doesn't matter because the fight is just so split because T1 have full control over this area. Peanut wasn't alive. He wasn't there. And right afterwards, he tries to punish, and he dies, and now he's not alive here for what is going to finally be Hextech Soul here for T1. And this game could not be more over.
It could not. So that is going to be the soul picked up here for T1. They're going to be able to push in this bottom lane. They've already taken the mid lane inhibitor. And ZEUS, he's looking for a bit of bounty gold. And I assume T1 are okay with him taking it because it's not going to save his Nexus.
We had 2 T1 predictors, and on our global side, we had several 3-0 Hanwha predictors. Hanwha Life came in as the massive favorites, but T1 having the momentum carried them from yesterday into this first game for sure. I think a lot of people are rethinking expectations after this one.
Yeah, me included, feeling a little bit silly for some of my opening statements here because it did feel like HLE were the better team before, based on our assessment. But momentum is so powerful, and T1 in this stadium, man, just feels like they are unlocked an extra level. And Faker now picking up a Magnus Storm for himself. That is going to be 2 inhibitors. This is, of course, feeling like a little bit of ceremony because this game is all but over. That is going to be a bit of an engage on Doran, but he does go into the mist and now looks to fight 4 people. Going golden here. Those big old scissors doing some work. There is the Magnus Storm finally. The bullet time coming in, but the wallets are so big. The pop loss are massive as well, and T1 just slaughter them in their own house, and they'll destroy it at the same time. T1 1-0 in the series.
From the perspective of Hanwha Life, you got reverse swept, and you end the game that I think you should have been happy with when it comes to draft, with a clean ace.
I like this setup with Carrier on Poppy more than had it been Owner's Poppy.
Oh yeah. Let's get into game number 2 and see whether T1 can get to an early match point.
T1 하나 둘 셋.
Oh man, you really get an idea of how many people there are in the Sajik Indoor Stadium here when they do the T1 fan chant. You absolutely do. This place was shaking. Dancing grenade, but like you were saying, Grubs going to be the trade for a decent amount here towards the bottom side as ZEUS is just trying to play that weak side Zion. And here is the Realm Warp in as Faker off to the side, doesn't get hit by that Q, and in comes Owner to finish him off. First blood going over to the Pantheon as a teleport. Does come through. Actually, Zeka just walking down towards this bottom side as Faker just executes himself, denies the money to HLE.
A even trade in summoners, and obviously a big trade down here with, I think, so close as well, Zeka to trying to get on top of Faker's. Uh-oh.
There's Depth Charge, and there's Chain CC. I think he's dead. Yeah.
They got him this time.
Yeah, they did get him this time, so there we go.
In Zeka being ahead. The problem with Zeka being ahead is going for a very safe build here with the Rod of Ages. Not quite full damage.
Trying to connect here is, okay, they're going to go for the Chain CC. Carrion tries to move himself out of the way, but Peanut locks down that kill and just caught napping here a little bit. The Poppy. So Carrion now lying down might be a big in here for HLE to try and get this snowball rolling.
Yeah, they might just look to try to somehow get this full turret as they look for Owner.
Yeah, another hook does come through. There's the audacious charges. Faker is off to the side to make this an actual 2 versus 2. But Zeka comes over to make it 3. Gumi usually a little bit later. The Arcane Storm, not quite enough as the Chains of Corruption comes in and Peanut taxis his way out with the Grump. Knocks it up there as well, but the Realm Warp is coming in. Peanut does have to flash as another hook is going to come through as Viper has to cleanse as Kerry is back once again. Okay, Keeper's Verdict does get him out of there. Now Faker is the one left alone. ZEUS turns up. Enough of that funny business, says HLE. It's Viper that gets the kill.
And
what
this time, yeah, this time T1 is the one trying to heavily overcommit to a play, and they get punished massively.
Yeah, I mean, Peanut initially looks like maybe he has, as we're not done yet.
All right, there's Grand Starfall underneath the turret here onto a gravity field as Owner, he can't tank the turret anymore, and Peanut in a good position this time. Huh?
Yeah,
what?
Not really sure.
That was my analysis at the end. I put the analysis
I'm on this. I'm right there with you.
A few minutes ago, you were starting to feel like, okay, this is going to be a tough one to play out, but now you're feeling so much more comfortable.
This could be a little bit dangerous, though, as Doran looking for an opportunity, but the Xin Zhao is here. The knock-up comes through. Wind becomes lightning. There's the knock-up from ZEUS at the same time, as Doran might be able to flash his way out of here, but ZEUS is right over the top, looking to try and chase him down. But remember, it's an Ambessa, so he has better running away.
And, I mean, I guess they could call that a backfire. Now we're looking for a flank for Carrier.
Okay, Drake is currently being taken here by Faker. Zeka moving on in. Peanut with that Wind becomes lightning. Carrier looking for that flank angle, wants to hit the Keeper's Verdict to make this a man advantage for T1 as he finds it. It is just about perfect as now they just single out Zeka. That is going to be killed on the other side though, as both mid laners are now lying in the dust. The curtains have been called and T1 has split the flash forward from Delight as now ZEUS turns up to be that monster in the front line. But Carrier is still being a menace. ZEUS is looking to lock him down as Gumayushi over the wall is getting the pot shots in. Viper now singled out by Doran, who still has a lot of damage, and ZEUS will be cut down where he stands. HLE once again losing a team fight.
And it's just way better coordination here from T1 in these moments. The Flash Keeper's Verdict from Carrier on the flank was absolutely insane. It gives him just enough space. And then you see the flash from Guma over the wall. So starts off with Carrier here, over the wall, channels, flashes, gets the double knock away. And that's the Scion gone here.
Carrier.
And then look at the follow-up here when they look to collapse onto Guma. He's able to get over the wall, which is so critical to do the rest of the damage.
And I think Viper, those shots, it's a Pantheon. You're just never going to get him if the E is up, trying to take him down. And then, obviously, once you get to this point, you're just a Jhin trying to run away. Even without the ult, Doran has no tough time getting on top of this Jhin. And they knew that Carrier was there. They were just caught off guard by that ultimate that single-handedly secured them soul point. And I don't think they were out of the game, but they were definitely falling further behind. The 5v5 looked good for Hanwha, and now, all of a sudden, gold lead is negligible, and there is that soul point. And Ocean Soul Ambessa, Ocean Soul Rise, it's a little worrying.
You know, it's not as simple as just he got lucky, he flash ulted, and they didn't know. It just puts Hanwha into so many different uncomfortable positions where they have to make the exact right call, and the exact right call is not easy to make, and you have to make it in such a short period of time. That was a great play from Delight to almost get Guma, you know, but at the end of the day, T1 pulling ahead in this one objective-wise, still down in gold, but it feels less significant as Doran.
Public execution goes in as Viper is just going to get executed. They blow him up, and now the Chains of Corruption to hold ZEUS in position. The rest of HLE trying to get here, but two are already on the floor, and T1 are just happy that they've showed up for the slaughter. The knockup comes in though, and Doran is going to be taken down, but Delight will also be returned as another one.
Away, now you're even in gold. Dragon in 5.
2 item spikes done for Zeka, and this is the point where I think Hanwha Life, they're gonna get this 5v5 win. Keria again, can they find him?
It's Keria's angle as he just knocks Peanut away. The heroic charge comes in now, the Pantheon comes through as well, but it's not quite as coordinated as we saw last time. Viper fighting against Doran though. Deadly Flourish comes in, they take down Ona, and now Doran finds himself inside the blender, and he will be taken out. Now the curtains have been called. Keria slowed down. He is out of range of these shots, and now Zeka is 1v1ing against the Poppy and kind of losing. That was scary. And Keria is able to walk his way out. Still this time, HLE find a fight.
I mean, Guma hits that arrow, it's a kill, he does miss it, but Hanwha Life will win their first Dragon of the game. And yes, it's the same play from Keria. They only hit the jungler this time, and the follow-up isn't as clean.
And there's the 5v5 we were looking for Hanwha. They deny the soul. They also deny, as Delight is on the ward, do take note.
All right.
There's no rest here.
Death Charge going to come through here, but Faker just decides he wants to kill ZEUS, and he might be able to do so. Gumayusi in a fair bit of trouble as Zeka distracted by the Poppy once again. Viper now looking for an angle. Deadly Flourish, will it be in range? And he doesn't quite find it, but he doesn't need to. It's a double for Zeka, and HLE running away with it now.
That could be how Hanwha Life want to play this, but they are, again, denying vision of T1, forcing T1 to be in this area.
Yeah, Keria.
TP.
Yeah, they're just looking for Zeka, and he is a deep TP. He is a long way away from everyone as he flashes towards Ona. The rest of his team is coming up though, and his health bar is pretty high. He's still alive for now. The Death Charge comes into public execution, misses onto this Victor, who is just standing in amongst all of his bodyguards, and now Faker is singled out. It's Zeka's turn to close in. Faker's still looking for that damage, but now the fight is ensuing on the other side. Delight might give himself up, but the knockup is there from ZEUS. He's trying to stand in the way, and Zeka might get executed here by Doran. He goes golden, and Doran is still alive. They take him down as the arrow is going to be there from Gumayusi, as 3 for 3 is the trade. But it is only really the tanky members alive from HLE, and Gumayusi is still terrifying on his signature Varus.
And also domestic Doran is unreal.
This man, who is this guy, Wolf?
So, a lot of sums are down for Hanwha. I do also want to highlight the restraint of Zeka on his stopwatch. That was actually insane. He waited until the arrows were in the air, but even before, I think a lot of players would stopwatch as soon as that play starts. But he really went for maxing the damage as another fight for the soul here, at least for T1. If they can get back space, but I think this is where Hanwha Life's comp should really shine. When they can get that front to back, Faker looking on the flank.
Let's see that Keria ult. That's the most important part of a lot of these fights.
Oh, the Ocean Rift.
You really don't get to front to back when a Poppy is in the game, especially when it's Keria.
He's got the heal set for a bit of a gap close as well.
Well, Faker is actually just going to try and take down the start in the mid lane. He will be successful, and remember, T1, they don't necessarily need to go for this.
He wants
but they can, as here's the Keeper's verdict. They do get rid of the Psy on the front line. He's now gone. The Gravity Well is doing so much work here, as Zeka just walks away and lets that Arcane Storm do the work, but it's Gumayusi, it's Faker, and they have so much damage, and they'll get the soul off the back end.
An insane fight here for T1. Realm Warp not ready for Faker. I think they're just going to push Hanwha away.
Yeah, and look at the damage dealt numbers. This is absolutely insane. Both Gumayusi and Doran running away with it.
Keria is the lowest in the game, by like a large margin as well.
But he has hit some of the best buttons.
Well, I mean, he's got them to soul.
Oh, yeah.
Like both fights were, it's insane.
It's ridiculous. In the mid lane, we've got the top laners trying to face off, but Chains of Corruption comes down towards his bottom lane. Delight probably lucky that that anchor didn't land. And T1, the war of attrition is just being won on their side of the rift. Here's the flanking teleport, though, as Gumayusi could be in a lot of trouble. He doesn't have his shield. and he doesn't have a whole lot of hope, but he does flash, and the train is not even going to get the stun. The wind becomes lightning, misses. Is the knockup going to be there? The rest of T1 are turning up. Kuma's still trying to kite this one out. He finally dies. The knockup is huge there from Delight at the same time as HLE are trying to fight off Doran on the other side of the fight, and things are going completely wrong for HLE on the top side. Delight trying to get out. The flash in front from Carrier is just gorgeous, and Doran can do no wrong here in Busan.
And why Homo Life is firing skill shots into the nothingness of the rift. Doran is 1v2ing.
Yeah, I want to have a chat with Aslan, man. That guy is getting hit by everything there in Narnia.
Oh, from Doran as well as that Source.
Oh, that was blind as well, kinda.
On the ultimate. I mean, it's a good predict. He knew the trajectory.
Death's Dance, baby.
It's a risky call, and he goes for it. A few things miss here, but ultimately I don't think it matters. You know, hitting that flourish would have changed things. Carrier, the bodyguard, and Doran cleans up house. Man, T1 looking better than they have, I feel, all year long. And the microcosm being the Poppy coming through.
All right, ZEUS, his health bar is looking a little bit large, but let's see how long it lasts. As there's another public execution. Doran getting in amongst 5 people underneath the turret. They haven't gone down just yet, but there's the Grand Starfall. Here is T1, and it's a double already for that man in the top lane. Zeka gonna go golden, and just watch as T1 rolls over the top like this wave that is just attacking them in their base. Viper, yeah, I think probably sticking around on this fountain is going to be the right idea, as T1 will move to match point here and make it possibly a pretty short one here in Busan.
And that bot side play, the power of friendship, T1 have done that exact thing so many times. Oh no, someone's out of position, and before you know it, reinforcements come in, the stall comes through, and the team fighting from T1 today, just outmatching Hanwha.
Mid lane, get a little bit back and forth. I think Faker should be able to have the edge if he can continue to apply that pressure.
미니언 생성까지 30초 남았습니다.
Hanwha fans trying to be as loud as possible, but the T1 fans obviously drowning them out still here at the Sujic Indoor Gymnasium.
Same for Viper.
Carrier about to hit that quickness as well, just needs, there it is.
I mean, they're just going to zone him off another wave. Like, otherwise, I mean, good luck defending this dive.
Well, there is that quickness that goes in, gets the charm onto Delight, who's kicked away, but here's the heroic entrance. Gumayushi with the Feather Storm, though, and he holds Zeka in place. The Winds of War come down, and the Sonic Wave is going to miss. That would have been a dead Zeka there, a dead Gargoyle underneath the turret, and it might still be, as Carrier not quite with the amount of damage, but the Feathers get recalled, and here comes Faker. He finds the angle. There's another Pyro Blast. It could be a triple for the Annie as Tibbers looks to clean up, and it's in fact the Blind Monk that gets it in the end. 4 for nothing here for T1 in this early game, and ZEUS is also taking damage from Doran.
That's got to be a backbreaker. Like, there is just no way.
There's no way. Because right before this, I was going to say, I mean, at least you got a gold lead for the counter matchup. You gave ZEUS. At least you got the Snar. And if Peanut can stabilize in this game, you can have some poke. You can play around objectives. But, I mean, this is just a bottom 2v2 setup where, again, Kuma pushes it in and they have so much agency. ZEUS looking for something back here on the bottom lane.
He has to.
Yeah, let's see
Has
whether
to
he can
try.
find it.
TP though.
Teleport is going to come in. Doran goes all out and doesn't get CC'd from the Gnar. ZEUS looking to try and get himself out of here, as there is the wallop. It's Carrier that comes in, and there's the Q charged up. Doran wanting a little bit more. The flash does come through as ZEUS gets the transformation. The turret's getting aggressive. ZEUS still trying to get out of here, but it does not work. And Doran picks up the kill. Once again, T1 are schooling Hanwha Life Esports all over the map.
Doran is making this road to MSI all about him.
Well, T1 are going to continue making it about them as they look for this engage onto Peanut. He tries to get himself out of there, but Delight is in such an awkward position. ZEUS is coming on over. The door has been set up as Viper in a decent spot. The culling this time is going to actually hit some T1 players, but the block from Faker is so good, and ZEUS will just get wiped out. Oh man, is this T1? Is this the Harlem Globetrotters? They are just dominating.
This is disgusting! I mean, it's the most one-sided game we've seen in a while.
And then ZEUS desperately tries to take down Carrier. Look at his weaving. The shield keeps him alive. Owner obviously doesn't care about the turret. And that's the only appropriate response!
Yeah, Carrier just having a little bit of a giggle at this one. I think he kind of knows that that ticket is already theirs. Looking for another bit of an engagement here, as soon as we're out of replays, we seem to be into another thing. 2,000 gold lead. The wallet advantage also going to be helpful.
All you got to do is just ult that there and you're fine. As even this is desperation.
Yeah, I mean, this is Zeka being able to push Faker away. He's, of course, got the Molten Shield and now has a bear. Going to make this one a little bit unfair towards the bottom side of the map as the Winds of War come down. But I don't know whether Zeka can even win this.
Oh my god.
Discovers that as well as he flashes.
Terminates it! It's too much!
Where's the mercy rule?
Yeah, oh god.
We always talk about T1. We know that 4 out of these 5 players are reigning world champions, 2-time. There's also the reigning LCK champion, Kruglord Doran, which I feel like we need to give him the credit. He is the defending champion, and it was on this team that he's facing right now.
Yep. And the defending world champion that's on the other side isn't quite getting it done as Carrier goes in. Owner there as well, finds the kick to get the double knock up. As they're now just looking to take down Peanut. They'll take that one very comfortably. Delight next on the menu, Delicious. Here's the knock up comes through. My god, the damage as Zeka will be eviscerated.
Nice.
And Viper standing alongside ZEUS underneath this turret. And Doran says, you are coming with me. The Kruglord sends his regards as Viper will look for a Mega Cone for a disengage.
Am I crazy? Or is it actually perfect gameable? All grubs, all herald, all turrets.
God, you are
kills
right.
for Hanwha. They could perfect game Hanwha and knock them out of MSI.
Oh, that is absurd. Okay, ZEUS is just going to get taken down under this turret unceremoniously. And like you were talking about, the perfect game still on the line. 12-0 is the kill score. They're going to take an inner turret here at 18 minutes. Oh man, now we're just talking about HLE. Can they get a kill ever in this game? That's going to be the question, is maybe off the back of this one, but never mind. He's got the smooth moves to taxi alongside the Gromp. The Blade Caller there as well to hold them in place.
Well, they got to defend this dragon if they want to keep that alive as well.
Oh,
Guma.
yeah. Zeka going in. Guma is going forward into 3 people. The feathers are just doing so much damage. As all right. Carrier going to join him. There is the knock-up attempt onto Zeka, who doesn't get the taunt. Onto Gumayushi, he's got the shield, the flash, but the Feather Storm is there in answer, and ZEUS cannot do anything as he gets that backline. It's the Pyroblast from Faker that locks him down, and they might be able to get one. Carrier is going to fall. There goes the perfect game, but it doesn't mean anything because they are stamping their ticket to MSI in this play right here.
Speechless is how I'm feeling right now. T1, a Super Saiyan performance, completely unlocked for T1, but how can you even say composed on the stage here as Hanwha, considering all the circumstances around this almost qualification for them? Is bye-bye.
Is just going to run towards Faker. The all-out from Doran just says, nope, no Mega Cone for you, sir. As in goes Carrier, finds them all in that backline as the Galio comes down, but he just gets booted out of the rift entirely. ZEUS now just trying his very best to hop his way out. Don't mind me, everyone.
The minion
as
died!
the Sonic Wave goes wide. But I still think he's just being escorted to the death chamber, ladies and gentlemen. Doran tanking up this turret momentarily. The grand entrance holds him in place. And now the base is going to get broken. Gumayushi going to test his mettle against the Otacon. And yeah, T1 are able to do whatever they want, whenever they want, until they decide that it's time to pick up that ticket.
He doesn't win this.
I don't think he does.
I mean, I'm pretty invested in this one right now. As he might be out, I don't know what he can cleanse. Yeah, he's look at the plays, look at the moves, Gumayushi! What was that? That was soloing an Otacon, everyone. That's what that was. It was, he did manage to get that one done. Didn't necessarily need to, but he did.
They're still up there with Gen G. We are a top 2 team in the LCK, and they're going to earn it here.
Yeah, that was actually very cute by Ona. Peanut wanted to hop over there, and he was like, let me help you, as he kicks him back towards his base. And all right, HLE are at least on the map for the moment.
Are they?
They are absolutely reeling. In goes Zeka looking to try and get one against Faker here as Carrier says absolutely not. He finds a whole lot of charms here in this mid lane. The heroic entrance is going to get a knock up onto the Rakan. Yeah, they'll be able to kill him again, but do they have any chance in the rest of this fight? And the answer is maybe they can get Faker, but otherwise it is all T1 as Gumayushi will be able to take down his former teammate. Peanut trying to get himself out of here as Ona gonna join him as they blast cone their way out. Another Sonic Wave is gonna go wide as the play caller coming on through. Peanut trying to do what he can, but Ona just needs one more auto, one more something as the cat will survive.
He gets out, but I don't know if he feels happy right now about it, Atlas. And
yeah, we can cue the yakety sax, I think, a little bit here.
I'm pretty confident he doesn't. I'm willing to take that bet. Zeka, they know, right? Like, they probably knew after the topside play. The emotes are flying, but Hanwha Life...
Yeah, the sad B.
Oh, no, not the sad B.
As the teleport is going to look to put the end to this funny business. As Delight came in, so that's going to try and help out here, as he does have a taunt. He manages to buff the Justice Punch quite nicely here, but he's still on a sliver of health. ZEUS decent Nabot position right now, but there is the insect from Ona. He's going to be able to take down Vipers. Now Peanut once again finding himself in a precarious spot, but not as precarious as what ZEUS is dealing with right here. It's a cute little Gnar, and he might be able to keep himself alive for a little bit longer, but T1 are still just messing with them. As finally the Sonic Wave is going to connect, and Ona collects another kill. Delight puts up the door. He's got a flash, but he doesn't have a chance to use it. And now T1, with so many members of HLE out of this game right now, they're going to look to take down an inhibitor and get this first Nexus turret taken down as well.
26-3! 8 turrets to 0, no objectives for Hanwha in this final game.
And I had a line prepared about denying golden roads and things like that. I just don't think it's relevant. T1 were just so damn good today. It didn't even look like Hanwha Life Esports turned up. They'll take down the Nexus, and T1 will stamp a deserved spot at MSI.
On one side of the arena, elation for T1 returning to form. A T1 that struggled through LCK Cup, was defeated by this very same team early on in our playoffs. A team that had swapping bottom laners and underperforming top laner, but they did not give up. Their resolve was insanely strong in this road to MSI, and they will once again be our representatives. Faker grabs the ticket amongst